April the 26th. Is it 27? 26, 27. I think it's 27, 2021. It's Foster Talk with Dr. John, regardless of the date in April. I know that we're here tonight live helping each other as foster parents. Hey, I'm so glad. So glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. What we do on Foster Talk with Dr. John, we do it every Tuesday and Thursday night. We come together as foster parents, adopted parents, kinship parents, parenting children in crisis, parenting children in foster care, and we come together to help each other because foster parenting, it's tough, it's hard, it's the most difficult thing I've done, maybe for you as well, most rewarding thing, but most challenging. So we come together as foster parents, as adoptive parents, as kinship parents to provide resources, answers, and support for each of us because you know the truth. There is no one who understands your lifestyle. No one understands what you do. No one understands what I do. I'm a foster parent of 60 plus kids. No one understands what we do as a foster parent unless it's another foster parent. Your friends, your family members. I was just telling someone this earlier today. Your friends, your family members, those closest to you, hey, they really don't understand your lifestyle. I talk about foster parenting lifestyle a lot, and that's what it is. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo, founder and director of the Foster Care Institute, and that's what I said. Foster parent myself, of 60 plus children have come through my home, and there's one of my kids right there behind me. There she is. Bye, Cassie. Thanks, honey bunny. Having an ice cream cone. That's my youngest. And so we come together as foster parents to answer the questions that we need. So we have three rules right here at Foster Talk with Dr. John. Rule number one, since your friends and family members don't understand what you do, tag your fellow foster parents. Tag them, put their name and tag them and invite them to join us. Rule number two, get those fingers flying. Ask anything you want. It does not make a difference. Anything. Parenting, foster care, kinship, adoption, the newest webinar we're doing here at the Foster Care Institute, the newest book I'm working on, my next trip working with agencies, whatever you need help with, whatever you're struggling with, let us know right here, and we're going to give you the answers, hopefully, that you need tonight. And rule number three. My favorite rule, I think you like this rule as well. If somebody asks a question tonight, if someone makes a comment tonight, you think, Dr. John, wait a minute, I've been there, I've experienced it, I've done that, I think I can answer it. We want to hear from you. So give us your advice. Tell us how you handled something. Maybe tell us a little bit about the experience you had with it. Whatever it might be, we're looking to hear wisdom and experience from you too, because I'm still learning myself. So with that in mind, I want to welcome Michael. I see Michael's here tonight. I see that Susan is here tonight. Hey, Susan, glad you're here with us tonight. I see that Ashley is here tonight, and Allison is here tonight as well. Thanks, guys. Elena's here tonight. Elena, thank you for joining us as well. And Karen is here tonight. Hey, guys, glad you're here. So with that in mind, get those fingers flying. Whatever you need help with, whatever you're struggling with, whatever you are having difficulty with, whether it is visitations, whether it is sleep anxieties, whether it is working with birth parents, whether it's your own children, whether it is your first placement coming up, or the grief you're experiencing when a child left, whatever it might be, we're here to answer your questions tonight. We do it live, 7 to 7:30 p.m. right here live. And as I mentioned, I'm Dr. John DeGarmo, founder and director of the Foster Care Institute. And I've been there. I've experienced those same things that you face. I was recently in Kansas City. I want to give a big shout out to DACA, DCCCA, DACA in the great state of Kansas, working with their staff and their foster parents. And I was telling them the same thing. It's the most rewarding thing I've done. At the same time, it's the most challenging thing I've done. Hey, Cole, glad you're here tonight with us, Cole. And Rachel and Pam. Hey, glad. Tiffany's here too. Glad you're all here with us. I've experienced all those things. I have felt the pang, the heartbreak of when a child leaves our home. I know what it's like when a child leaves our home. I know the heartbreak that we face as foster parents. It's like losing a member of our family, right? Like losing one of our children. And grief and loss, feelings of grief and loss are very, very real for foster parents. Maybe that's something you're struggling with right now. Whatever it is, whatever you need help with, we're here to answer your questions live. So, hey, Mary, glad you're here this night. Mary Kathy's here. Glad you're here this night as well. So whatever it is, get those fingers flying, and we're here to answer your questions for the next 25 minutes. Elena's here, reminds us to document. Perhaps the three most important words as foster parents is documenting, making sure that you're protecting yourself as foster parent from false accusations, false allegations. Hey, Aaron, glad you're here tonight with us. Glad you're here. Hey, listen, earlier today, earlier today, I sent out the brand new edition of the Foster Care Institute newsletter. And we had with it this week, we talked about the 10 big ways that everybody can help children in foster care without being a foster parent. It's a great article that you need to send to your family members, your friends, your church, workplace, whatever it might be. When they ask, hey, how can I help? That's an article I want you to send to them. Also, we had the foster care news of the week. And then we've talked a lot about the Michelle Bryant issue out of the state of Ohio. I think that was in there as well in the news. Had the foster care 101 video tip, foster care webinar of the week, the motivational moment, and so much more. So if you didn't get the newsletter, it's absolutely free. We have over 20,000 subscribers. If you didn't get it, type in I want newsletter, put your email address. I want newsletter, put your email address, and we'll make sure that you get the newsletter tonight. Okay. All right. Hey, Yolanda, glad you're here this tonight. Yolanda is an author of a great series of foster care books, children's books. Make sure you check out the great work that she's doing. She's also one of my clients. I work with her, but check out her books. They're doing great stuff there. All right. Any moment here, I might have a sneeze. I just took some. Oh, I think it went away. My wife, as you know, my wife's a doctor of nutrition, naturopathic doctors, and she just bought. Just bought a drink. Has ghost pepper in it. Has apple and pineapple and lemon and ghost pepper. I think the ghost pepper is starting to get to me right now. Carrie, we'll get that newsletter to you tonight. Look for it later tonight. Mary, look for the newsletter tonight. We'll get that for you as well. Okay. We've got another 25 minutes here. We're going to answer your questions. Christina's here. Christina, welcome to Foster Talk with Dr. John. My daughter is in 4th grade special ed. They wanted to jump her to 7th grade. Wow, that's crazy. Has anyone had this happen or any advice? The functions at the age of 7-year-old and is on a 2nd grade reading level in kindergarten math, so I'm very concerned. So, Mary, you're telling me they want to jump her from 4th grade to 7th grade? I know of jumping 1 grade, maybe even 2, but this is 3 grades. This is pretty. Well, maybe next year from going to 5th, she go to 7th. Christina, I've had experience of children jumping 1 grade, not that much, and she's in special ed as well. You know, there's some dynamics there, Christina, that I'm probably not familiar with. You know, first of all, what you need to make sure is you talk to your caseworker about this. Okay, make sure the caseworker is involved in this discussion. Okay, by all means. Also, bring in your the birth parents as well. The birth parents need to be part of this discussion as well, if at all possible. And of course, Christina, make sure you're documenting all of this evidence as well. Michelle, we'll get that newsletter to you. Look for it later on tonight. So Christina, those are my suggestions to you. Make sure the caseworker is involved in the discussion. Maybe the caseworker could attend a meeting, because that's a pretty significant change in the child's situation at school, and the caseworker certainly needs to be involved in this discussion. Also, you might want to ask the teacher, why do you feel this needs to be done? You know, again, if the child's in special ed, as you say, and going from 4th to 7th, that's a drastic jump there. A lot of steps being skipped there. So those are my suggestions. Christina, you might want to check out the book, Helping Foster Children in School. Helping Foster Children in School. It's available here at the Foster Care Institute. I'll be happy to send you a signed copy. Got a couple copies left over there on the bookshelf there. I'd be happy to send them to you. Okay. All right. Linda's here. Linda, you have a question. Well, Linda, we're here hopefully to answer your question. So let us know what it is. This is Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo. I've been a foster parent myself to 60 plus kids. Do you know how many kids I've had in my house at the very same time? If you don't know the answer, it might surprise you. Angela says, is this a different newsletter than you normally send out? Angela, this is a newsletter that comes out every Tuesday. Came out this morning. And again, on Fridays. A whole different one is on Fridays. So, Angela, my question to you is this. Did you get the newsletter this morning? If not, check your spam folder. If it's not there, then it might not be the one you're receiving. Just type in I want newsletter, put your email address. But if you've already signed up, check your spam. Christina said, absolutely, the caseworker is very involved. Thank you. I appreciate the advice greatly. My pleasure, Christina, my pleasure. Again, Christina, you might want to get that book, Helping Foster Children in School. This was basis of my doctoral dissertation, was children in foster care and schools. And you can get signed copies at the Foster Care Institute. Angela says 8 children at the same time. No, Angela. Nope, that is not right. Higher. I've had more than that. Appreciate you asking, though. More than that. 8 actually seems a little bit small, to be honest with you. Okay, we're here to. Angela says I did. Okay, Angela. Well, then again, check your spam. If not, sign up again, and we'll make sure you get it. But 20,000 people, and it went out this morning. So maybe you got it this morning. You just have not had a chance to see it yet. Maybe it went to your spam folder or junk folder, or maybe it's being blocked. Okay, Linda, I have kinship of my niece since February of 2020. Her father, who is my brother, passed away, and her mom has been missing in action since July of last year. They have put in for TPR in December, still nothing from the courts. So I'm just wondering what is the next step and how long would it usually take for everything in process? Well, Linda, to be quite honest with you, we've talked about this a lot since last March. When we started this, March of 2020, when COVID took the world into a crazy frenzy. We talked about this. The court systems are, most court systems across the states have slowed down the wheels of progress, so to speak, because of COVID. Because courts and attorneys and the court systems, hey, they're understaffed right now. Because in some states they're still working from home. As a result, the process is taking longer. The paperwork is taking longer. Same thing with agencies. Many agencies are still understaffed as well. So their paperwork is taking longer as well. So the answer, Linda, the answer that would have been the adoption process that would have happened before COVID is a whole different answer than it is right now. And it really depends upon the state you're in. How open is your state? Are your caseworkers back to work? Are the agencies open and functioning in a pre-COVID situation? Same with the court systems. If not, then the situation is going to take much longer. And I can't give you a definite answer because, again, it's based upon those dynamics. Linda, I hope that makes sense. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being here with Foster Talk with Dr. John. Hey, Carrie, welcome. Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo. Glad you're here this tonight. Carrie says, our foster daughter, 8, has terrible long tantrums. Hey, check out the webinar, Anger Management, okay, and Positive Parenting Solutions. Those are 2 webinars you probably want to watch. And we are out of options for discipline. Timeout, she hits her head. So we have to hold her, and she bites and kicks and hits us, screams at us, took things away, gave her consequences, tried grounding, going to bed earlier. Nothing is working whatsoever. Suggestions and a new discipline. She's also starting to cuss a lot. We are trying to keep the structure going with discipline, but we feel at a loss. Carrie, I've been there. I know exactly how you feel. I know exactly how you feel. What I would suggest to you, Carrie, is time in. Time in is very different than time out. All right, so check out the webinar, Trauma-Informed Parenting Part 1, Positive Parenting Solutions, and Discipline in Children in Foster Care. Because I'm going to encourage you to check out the form of time in. Again, it's very different than time out. You also might want to go with real-life consequences. All right. You also might want to try different forms of therapy, Carrie. You might want to try some animal therapy. If you have an animal, a dog or cat, if not, might be the time to get one for her. Some play therapy, some art therapy, some music therapy. We talk about all of these in the webinar, Positive Parenting Solutions. I would encourage you to watch that. So those are some suggestions I would give you there. Thank you so much for asking. And let us know how it goes, Carrie. And Carrie, if you're not a member of the Foster Care Institute, why not? We've got over 10,000 members. And when you join, you get unlimited access. Oh, I love that word. Unlimited access to over 60 hours of webinars. Our new one comes out next week. Transracial Parenting, Part 1. CEUs, printable certificates, 12 free ebooks, and so much more. Angela says, what state were you in? Here in North Carolina has a limit of 5. Well, the limit here in Georgia is 6, but we've had a lot more than 6. Aaron, hey Aaron, welcome to Foster Talk with Dr. John. How do I deal with biological mom who's not showing up for virtual visitations once a week? You do it by documenting everything. Now I'm notified I have to work around her schedule to meet those 4 hours a week when my husband works, and I'm a night nurse having as a judge their appointments and my own medical appointments. I feel like the biological mother is being catered to. I'm very frustrated. Anything can suggest I'm new to this thing. Again, make sure you're documenting this. When you have a time and mom does not show up, you need to document the time, the date, the place she did not show up, what you did to respond. Did you reach out to her? Did you text her, say, hey, mom, we got a meeting? If you are asking to meet 4 hours a week when your husband works and you're a night nurse, you got to let the caseworker know, hey, this is simply not possible. My husband is working. I'm on doing this. These are not times that are available. We can do this, 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 and this. I would give the caseworker and the mother 3 to 5 different times that you can meet. Okay, dates and times, and say this is the ones we can work. This is the times we're available. These are the best times for our family because we have this going on. We've got this going on. We've got children in school. We have work. We have my own medical appointments. We have et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, that's what I would do. Again, make sure you have the time documented that she did not show up. Check out the webinar, Aaron. The importance of documentation. Check out the webinar. Birth parents and foster parents working together, or co-parenting, I think it's called. Check out those ones, okay? I think you're going to find those very, very helpful, all right? Thank you for asking, Aaron, and thank you for being here with Foster Talk with Dr. John. Hey, so a plug, if you did not get the newsletter, this morning, 10 big ways to help children in foster care without being a foster parent, plus all the foster care news this week, and the webinar of the week, and the Foster Care 101 video tip. Type in I want newsletter. Put your email address. Linda says, thank you. My pleasure, Linda. Glad you're here. Kimberly, hello. Kimberly, welcome to Foster Talk with Dr. John. My foster children were abandoned and have no name on the birth certificate. I've been there too. The agency named them, and now there's an issue in the adoption process. Birth certificate need to be amended. New York ACS has taken over a year and still nothing. Is there something else I can do instead of waiting for the amended birth certificates? Kimberly, there really isn't. Again, I know that New York is one of those states that is in a COVID grip, if you will, and they're not able to really move forward. So your state most likely is one of those ones where the court system is bogged down or is lagging because of COVID. All right, because their wheels of progress are moving ever so slowly. While in other states, like Georgia here in Florida, they're much quicker, more faster. So most likely, because it's in New York, you're just going to wait that extra long time. I would continue to put the request in. I would ask the caseworker. I'd ask the court system that you're working with, the agency, whatever it might be. Reach out to them on a very regular basis. Don't be afraid to be a nice. Say, hey, we need this. We need this. When do you expect it to happen? Is there anything that we can do on our end to help make this quicker? Is there anything that we can do to expedite this? Is there anything you need from us? Is there anything that we can do to help you out? That's what I would do, Kimberly. I appreciate you asking. It might not help, but I've been there. I know exactly what that's like. Carrie says, all right, thank you so much. We have cats. She is very mean to them. We're going to try your suggestions. Well, maybe it's time to maybe she could help. Maybe, Carrie, you could have the child help feeding the cat. Say, hey, can you help feed the cat? Look how the cat, the cat really appreciates you. Again, look at that music therapy. Look at that play therapy. Look at that art therapy. Look at that time in. They're all in those webinars I suggested to you. So I want to encourage you, Carrie, when we're done tonight, to watch those webinars. The best thing about it, Carrie, is not only the webinar is about 35 to 40 minutes long, but when you're done, you get all the ideas, tips, strategies that you need. Plus, you can download the certificate, print your name and date on it, print it out, sign it. My name's already on there, and you get 1 hour 1 hour licensing of training for every webinar you watch. Again, over 60 hours of online training webinar in your own home to keep yourself licensed. Hey, Michael, glad you're here tonight. Welcome to Foster Talk with Dr. John. We had a boy for 5 months, and he went to California for non-blood kinship, and is there for 5 months, but he's regressing big time there. The actual foster family has applied to adopt him. Is there a chance that they choose our family since he was doing great here with us and we can prove it? There's a chance, Michael, but it's not a very strong chance. There is a chance. Can you prove it? You can get letters of recommendation. You can have all the documentation that you have when the child was with you. You can maybe ask the birth mother to chime in if the birth mother's able to. Maybe ask your caseworker to speak on your behalf. But if he's with a foster family right now, and they're applying to adopt him, most likely he's going to stay there. All right. I don't know the particulars of your case, Michael, so I really can't go into much more detail than that. I'd have to know a whole lot more to give you more of a concrete answer. I hope that makes sense. All right, Virginia, honestly, the time in does help. Yeah, I love time in. I was skeptical time in, but it really does work. Taking things away doesn't bother them. Kicking and screaming happens, but if you do time in, it helps with that. Trust me, I've had these kids since June, and they are kinship. Hey, Virginia, thank you for chiming in there. Yeah, time in is great. I love it. Angela, hello, Angela. Welcome to Foster Talk with Dr. John. I found out I'm a member but don't know how to access the webinars and need trainings. Was planning on doing some of yours. I'm about to start my third round of licensing. Angela, just send me an email at drjohndegarmo@gmail.com and we'll work it out for you. We'll find out, help you, okay? All right, Donna, we'll get that newsletter to you. Look for it later on tonight. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Aaron says, thank you very much. My pleasure, Aaron. Keena, welcome to Foster Talk with Dr. John. Hey, we're answering your questions for the next 10 minutes. Our brand new webinar number 63, hour 63, 63 hours, comes out next week. The one that you voted for yesterday, all right? How do I access the webinars that you're mentioning? Melissa, it's very simple. First of all, hopefully, Melissa, you're already a member, like 10,000 plus other people, of the Foster Care Institute. And when you're a member, you just go to the website, the Foster Care Institute, go to the webinar you want, click on it, put in your login and password information, and guess what? You've got access to over 60 hours of webinars, certificates, 12 free ebooks, and more. If you're not a member, Melissa, the price is one you cannot beat. I promise you, you can't beat it. Only $50 for over 60 hours of webinars. It's less than 82 cents a webinar. Plus, there's a 12 free ebooks and more, and the printable certificates. You can't go wrong, and you got membership for this year and next year. How can you beat it? Ashley, hello, Ashley. Welcome to Foster Talk with Dr. John. We have had our siblings for 19 months, and Biles live in 2 different states. Oh, that's challenging, isn't it? What are we going to expect? Mom has met most of the goals, but how do we work towards reunification? Ashley, there's a great webinar, Co-Parenting, Birth Parents and Foster Parents Working Together. You work towards reunification by doing probably what you're doing, contacting her, reaching out to her, setting up virtual visitations, if you will, sending her progress reports on the kids, maybe taking pictures of the kids and sending them to her. If they're in school, sending them birth mom the progress reports. Maybe the child can write a letter to the mom or draw a picture, things like that. We go into a lot of detail in the book, The Foster Parenting Manual, as well. Aaron, we'll get that newsletter to you tonight. Look for it shortly, okay? Aaron says, once TBR is established, how long until adoption is finalized? Oh, Aaron, it is different in every situation. I've adopted 3 from foster care. I've experienced 4 failed adoptions. You probably know this from the book, Fostering Love, One Foster Parent's Journey, right? One adoption took 22 months. One adoption took 18 months. One adoption took 12 months. So it's really different. The average, though, before COVID now, was 18 to 22 months. That was the average. Now, since COVID has happened, as I've been saying tonight all along, the court systems are slowed down. The agencies are slowed down because so many of them they're not working in place. They're still at home, and as a result, the paperwork is taking much longer. That means your adoption might take longer. Well, Aaron, so Eric, it really depends upon this, Eric. What state are you in? What is the COVID restrictions like in your area? And it depends upon your judge, depends upon the caseworker, the agency. You know, there's 125,000 children up for adoption every year in foster care. Every situation is unique and it has its own different time frame. Again, before COVID, average time was 18 to 22 months. Hope that helps, Eric. Thank you for being here for Foster Talk with Dr. John. Angela, we'll get that newsletter to you. If you want the newsletter, type in I want newsletter, put your email address, and we'll get that newsletter to you tonight. Eric will get that newsletter to you as well. Hey, we got about 5 more minutes here. 5 more minutes. Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo, founder and director of the Foster Care Institute. And look for our brand new webinar next week. You know, I've been talking with a number of foster care agencies in California, some faith-based ones in California. And, you know, there is that concern right now that faith-based agencies, they're struggling. It has some concerns right now. Perhaps you're familiar with it. I'm not going to go into great detail about it right now, but if you're a faith-based organization, my hat's off. You know, there's so many different types of foster care agencies, whether it's state, whether it's private, whether it's a faith-based of all different kinds of faith, whether it's secular, whatever it might be. There's a place at the table. My dear friend, Jen Lilly. Jen, if you're watching tonight, hey, hello. Miss you. Jen is, as you probably know, Jen is a celebrity actress on all those Hallmark movies. She's a great foster care and adoptive parent advocate. She says oftentimes there's a place at the table for everyone in regards to foster care. Amanda says, are there any programs for learning about kiddos with autism? Oh, Amanda, there's lots. Absolutely, there's lots of programs. We talk a little bit about it in the book Foster Care Survival Guide. We're actually going to be doing a webinar about that very topic in the next 6 to 9 months. All right, before the end of the year, we hope to have one there. But yeah, I'm sure a quick search online, Amanda, will give you some sites there as well. Donna says, do you recommend starting out as foster parents as respite care? No, I don't recommend that. Respite care is a wonderful way to start if you want. The vast majority of foster parents I've met jump right into it. My wife and I, hey, if you read the best-selling book, Fostering a Loved One Foster Parent's Journey, my memoir, the first 10 years of my foster parenting, yeah, we started right in as well, after the death of our first child, of course. No, respite care, no, you don't need to be a respite care to be a foster parent. You don't need to have experience as respite care. You can if you'd like. I know that some do. I know that some see it as a starting point or entryway, if you will. But the majority of foster parents, no. They take their training, just like I did, and they wait for their first placement. It's certainly not something I would not recommend, Donna, but I'm not saying that's something that you have to do or generally should do. It's really up to you. Donna, it's really up to you. We all have our own preferences in regards to foster care. We all have our own strengths. Some people are best with infants. Some are best with teenagers. Some are best with sibling groups. Some are best with those transitioning out of the system. Some are great with one or two. Some are great with multiple. Some are great for respite. Some are not. So it really depends upon your strengths, all right? Appreciate you asking. Hello, Crystal. Welcome to Foster Talk with Dr. John. All 7 weeks into 2- and 3-year-old siblings sit here. Good for you, Crystal. Good for you. Fantastic. I hope you're hanging in there. I'm glad you're here with us tonight. We do it every Tuesday and Thursday night, and I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you're finding some support here. Appreciate all that you do. Hey, I asked earlier, how many kids do you think I've had in my house at the same time? I've still not gotten the answer yet. Some of you said 6. Some of you said 8. Those are not right. 8's closer. 8's closer. All right, we got maybe 2-3 more minutes left here to answer your questions. What do you need help with? Hey, before we go, follow me on Facebook. Follow me at Dr. John DeGarmo, Foster Care Expert. Don't follow me at John DeGarmo. No, I don't go there on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm at Dr. John DeGarmo at Foster Care Expert. At Twitter, Dr. John DeGarmo, Foster Care Expert. YouTube, LinkedIn. Follow me there on Facebook for all the foster care news that you need, okay? Virginia, 9. I'll tell you, Virginia, 9 is our average. 9, for the longest time, 9 was our average of kids in foster care, but it was higher than that. We averaged 9 for about, almost 10 years. And 9 seems a lot, doesn't it? Not for us. Okay, a couple more minutes here. Maybe we can get your question in here. Had a lot of fun yesterday. We put out right here on this page. We asked, what did you want to know for foster care training? And transracial parenting is the one that's going to come out next week, part 1. And we'll be doing ADHD maybe later on this summer. Sarah, first placement, first year court hearing coming up. Past 3 have been virtual, expecting this one to be in person. What is appropriate and helpful to say when the judge asks if you'd like to be heard? Look at the webinar, Sarah. Rights and responsibilities as foster parents. You have the right to be heard. You have the right to speak in court. So that's a webinar. It's going to answer your questions in that regard. Can it really make a difference in a judge's decision? It can, not necessarily. It might. As you know from my books, Sarah, I want to be in court. I ask to be heard. I ask to speak because I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate for this child, and you are as well. So, Sarah, I'm going to encourage you tonight or this weekend to watch the webinar, Rights and Responsibilities of Foster Parents, and you'll learn what you can do in court, okay? All right, I think you're going to find it very, very helpful. And, Sarah, if you're not a member of the Foster Care Institute, I'm not sure why you're not. Over 10,000 people do. And you can get all the webinars that you need for training to stay licensed for this year and next year as well. Hey, we've had a great time. The 30 minutes has flown by again. It always does. It's flown by. I want to say thank you for being here. I'm out of breath. I want to say thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for all your great questions. Thank you for supporting each other. All right, the number of kids I had in my house, the total number at the same time, 11. We've had as many as 11 in our house. And from the book Love and Mayhem, the best-selling book, that we've had as many as 7 in diapers at the same time as well. Was it insane? Absolutely, it was insane. Was it crazy? Oh my gosh, was it fun? It was an adventure, to be sure. Don't tell me 12. Nope, it's 11. 11. Okay, hey, one more time. If you don't get the foster care newsletter, type in I want newsletter, put your email address, we'll send it to you tonight. We're going to be here again Thursday, right here Thursday, 2 nights from now, 7 to 7:30 p.m. live. For the Foster Care Institute, Virginia, I'm not amazing, but thank you so much. For the Foster Care Institute, this has been Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm Dr. John DeGarmo. Have a great evening. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you Thursday. Bye.